All right, let's get it. So we're back here at the compound, and what we're giving you is an update on the DIY School of Hard Knocks trailer build for the ATV. We've got quite a little bit done. I'm back and forth in between working on the road, so when I get home, I try to do a little update, try to do a little progress. Instead of just sitting on the couch and watching TV, I'm out here doing what I'm supposed to be doing. But let me give you a quick little run around. Okay. I'll give you an update. Hold on 1 second, people. Hold on. Don't mind that little wetness there. That's just the I got the temperature up in here about 70 degrees. I had the door open so I could spray that with some self-etch primer. But as you see, I've got the bottom panel in. Okay, that's 2 feet by 6 feet. I've got the two other panels in. These are 12 and I want to say 12 and 3/4. And what I did, people, you see where I stitched it all along the bottom, okay? I came up in here and stitched it. And what I did is afterwards I took a flapper disc and smoothed them out because I want to take some seam sealer and fill in these little gaps, okay, before we paint it. But this panel here, I had a little dilemma. I was going to have to, I was a little short. I was about 2 inches short. And I had an extra piece. So what I did is I stitched in this piece here. And you can't tell because I completely stitched the entire thing. And when you do that, you don't just want to do a straight weld. You want to do spot welds here and there, back and forth, so you don't warp the panel. But if you didn't know where that was, if I didn't point that out to you, I'm telling you people, you wouldn't be able to see it. Now, the other thing I wanted to show you is we've got the situation here. As you can see it, it's ready to go. I've got it in self-etch primer because I've got to go on another road trip tomorrow down to the great state of Texas. And I just wanted to put this in prime so that I could put it to the side. We got a little snow here in upstate New York, so I've got to bring my equipment back in. But I wanted to give you a little review on this tailgate right here, as you can see it. Now, what I did is I used a plasma cutter. And look at that. Look how close that is. So that's going to get welded on the bottom right here. I've got it on my weld table so that I can get it to where I can do my stitch welds all the way around without it being warped. But that's the situation right there. These holes I'm going to leave in it because that's going to be partly for the chains to hold the tailgate up. And what I've got here is I've got some old pieces of steel. And let me show you what I got. First of all, let me show you this layout pen. I got this. It's not a pen. It's like a wax crayon. But this is made for steel, for writing on stuff. As you can see, it marks really nice. And if you use like a little T-square, okay, you can get some nice lines. But anyway, this is the piece here I'm going to use. This part that's has the radius. And that's going to go here on the end. Okay, on both ends, I'm going to have 4 of those. And what I'm going to do, oh, hold on 1 second, let me get this, is cut pieces off here. And I've got to just either put that on the lathe. I'll probably put it on the lathe and take off like 100,000 so it fits in there. But I'm only going to use, basically, I'm going to weld that plate on like that. And I'll have like a 2.5 inch tab on there and on here. So that when this comes up into the tailgate, you see how that's going to work? It'll actually be coming from the other side, and then this will be nipped off, and I'm going to put like a washer on there. So that if you lay the tailgate down, if you have one down here that's locked in, it can rotate, see? And then if you want to leave it locked in up top, the bottom can kick out if you're tipping up the bed and say you're dropping some mulch or some stone or sand. But that's how that's going to work, okay? Now, the only other thing I've got left is on the back side here, I've got to put some caps here, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually throw some fluid film down there before I close them off. So the front and the back, I've got these. and she's coming along. Now, up front there, let me use my pointer. Up here, I've got just enough steel right here. Let me show you. Okay? Just enough to cover that off. All right? So that's a 4 foot by something like 14 inches. Okay, so we've got that. And that's going to go up front to lock that in. Obviously, I have the piece of steel there in the tailgate. But once I get that put in, I've got to put a couple big pieces here in the front of angle iron. I'll use something heavy like this. I had off that one of my other trailers. I'll use a piece of angle like that, and then we'll come up with 2 of those so that where I put my hoist, it's going to hook in there. But yeah, that's the deal, people. Now, before I laid these panels down right here, I went underneath, and what I did is I actually primed them. Okay. Now I have to go through where I welded, and I've got to scuff them up with a flapper disc, and then I'm going to go ahead and reprime them. And then underneath these all these metal pieces, it's been primered as well. So when we're all done, we're gonna be fine, because we're gonna go ahead and paint that, and we'll paint that, but it won't be raw steel underneath. It at least has an etch primer under it. But yeah, that's the update on the DIY ATV trailer. It's 4 feet wide. Okay, and the centerpiece is 2 feet wide. And what I did is I built this like with these angles, like an earth mover. When I throw my logs and wood out in there, I want it to all kind of settle in nice, okay? And it has like a nice reverse arch design without being I see a lot of them come over, down. It's like a Lego, which is fine, but dumping them out, I've seen a lot of problems with them. I see people having problems with them because it catches on like those sides. Here we can have a conversation. So what I did, okay, hold on 1 second, people. All right, what I did is I turned around and made mine so like an earth mover, like a dump truck, they're just sloped. When that thing tips up, everything's going to want to come out nice. And it was a little tricky getting the angles, but with that chop saw I got, the metal cutting saw, I just laid out the angles with a T-bevel and got all my angles, cut them all to size, used one of them as a template each time. I didn't change them up, and I have pretty close repeatability. And that's the deal. Now remember, you got to remember now, people, these pieces of steel here were free. Remember the skids that I got over at my local Tractor Supply? These are free, okay? And that's what I'm going to put. I got one here and one here, so I got 2 of them. So I got 4 pieces. That's going to go on the bottom of that tailgate, okay? And that way there, I'll go ahead and chuck this up, and I'll turn this down about 100 thousandths, maybe whatever that is, 3/16. I'll chuck that up and take off like 100 thousandths, so when it sets in there, it has a little platform, and then I can just go ahead and weld the back, smooth it off with a flapper disc. I can go ahead and put it in there and tack it onto the tailgate. And once I get that angle right where it can roll without like scrubbing right at the pinch point, I don't want that to like be scrubbing. If I go ahead and just weld them all on, I'm kind of committed. I have to cut them off. I don't want to do that. So I'm going to make them little plates so that I can tack weld them just the 4 corners. And if something's wrong or it needs adjusted, I can go ahead and cut them off. Reposition it, because I want that tailgate to be able to drop completely 90 degrees down. And I also want it to, it's going to have some cables, okay, or chain. And then I want it to be able, if I want to tip the dump box up, I want to be able to have that tailgate drop down 2-3 inches so that if I'm dropping mulch or stone or sand or topsoil, I can just take the 4-wheeler and pull right along and it'll just slide right out. But yeah, that's the update. I really thought I'd get a little bit more done, but I've got to travel tomorrow, back on the road again, okay? So we're going to go make that cornbread and get some more cabbage in the pocket, and then what we're going to do when I get back, hopefully we'll be able to finish this off. And this project will be at a point where it says, let's get using it, let's take it to the woods, and let's actually demo this out in the woods and throw some material in it and tow it behind the four-wheeler. I know my little 03 Eiger is itching. That little Suzuki Eiger is just itching to pull this trailer. And the other thing, I got a buddy of mine, and let me tell you something right now. He picked up a side-by-side, probably one of the better deals I've seen him get. And he had to diagnose it and go through and put, the fellow that sold it to him, it wasn't running, and that's always a gamble, but the machine itself is so clean, okay? It's so whistle clean that he took a chance, and he kind of figured it might have been something in electronical, and he actually figured it out. And he got it all fixed, and it's he had a friend of his that owns a shop. He went ahead and had him put the parts on it that he ordered. And let me tell you something, that is a nice rig. It's got a tilt bed on that. It's a side-by-side four-wheel drive. Kimco, I believe that's one he's got. But we're going to actually take this trailer right here, this trailer, and we're going to go over to his house, and we're going to actually hook it up when it's all done, and we're going to actually showcase the side-by-side Kimco with the DIY trailer. And like I said, remember, people, I want you to remember something. Just because the steel looks new doesn't mean I bought this steel. I got this steel for free. This was on a deal that said the corporation, the big corporation, wanted to throw it out, and they seen zero value in it and said, just throw it in the dustbin of society and let the savages come get it. Well, I'm happy to be a savage. I went and collected it. I got it all together. And if you remember right, the theme behind this whole dump trailer is free. Trying to do things cheap, trying to do things with free material, and actually show you how much quality you can actually get out of free material if you'll just take the time and invest a little bit of flapper discs, a little bit of your welding wire, a little bit of your time, a lot of bit of your time. But hey, let's be honest. These trailers go anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 online. And let me tell you something. Let me show you something. This little spine right here, I call this the skeleton. Okay? A lot of them trailers don't have this rail. They don't have that. They just use the skin, the metal itself, as the structure. And I think a lot of times the structure is something like 14 gauge. And there's nothing wrong with that, but, I mean, and this is 16 gauge. Okay, so it's just a whisker thinner, but where I think mine is going to actually shine is that it's got that, I call it the skeleton, the frame underneath it that actually does all the hard work and support. The metal work here just actually is a container. So I actually think we're going to turn around and have some people looking at this thing thinking, hey, where'd you buy that? And that's what I'm going for. That's the theme I'm going for. I want to see how many people I can actually to get to actually comment on it, number one. And I want to see, and I'm talking about locally when I'm running it around and when I have it in my hometown here. If someone looks at that and says, hey, where'd you buy that? That's pretty cool. I want to know if they think it was built or if they think it was purchased, and that's what I'm going for. If I can get that kind of a review from it, I'll be happy. I mean, I'm going to be happy regardless. But the situation that I'm going for is we're trying to take free material, low-cost budget trailer, and actually make it handy and make it to the point where people think, hey, man, he bought that. That's a really nice trailer. Now, the other thing I want to tell you is if you go back in my YouTube page, you'll see I built a $100 trailer that I got for, I think, $75, and I had to buy a tire. So in the end, I think I had a little over $200 with all the, I figured the weld wire and all that. But I did a rehab on a 6x8 trailer, and I put 2-foot sides on it, and I used the free steel, the 2x2 steel with that as well. And let me tell you something. I just went today, and I burn wood. And I like to, when I'm home, because I never know when I'm going to go or how long I'm going to be gone, I always try to keep my barn filled with wood. So I went today and I actually loaded up 2 cord of wood in that trailer, and you just really can't appreciate it until you say to yourself, and you're going down a highway with it, and you say, boy, am I glad I put this thing together, because I would be in really, really dire straits if I'd have to go buy a trailer to haul my little wood or whatever I want to do. And let me tell you something. That trailer don't owe me nothing. It's a wonderful trailer. It goes down the road good. I got 2 brand new tires on it. I'm just so happy that I actually went through with it and actually took the time to do it. Now, what we haven't done is we haven't forgot, okay, I've got that Dodge back there. Okay, that Dodge Ram is ready to roll. Okay, come spring, all my attention's going to be on that truck. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try to get everything squared away on that and get the paint and body and stuff ready to go, because the frame's ready, the engine's ready, the transmission's ready, the rear end, the front end, all the differentials have been changed. The clutch is brand new, the throw-up bearing, the pressure plate, it's all new. All I need to do is get the body on it and actually go ahead and get some epoxy primer and do a little bit of body work on the what I like to call New Jersey dings. And that California Survivor, because that's where it came from, is California. That California Survivor is going to be a really nice truck. And when that's done, I got a few other projects in the works. I'm going to put a 20 by 24 garage up this spring. And then the other thing I want to do is actually go through, when this is all done, the truck's done, the garage is done, I'm going to actually lay out and build a brand new dump trailer. I want to build a 6 by 10 dump trailer, and we're going to bring you all the way through the phases of it, how to figure the articulation of the bed, how to put the hydraulics in it. We're going to go step by step by step for all of you, the DIYers that want to build a dump trailer. If you say to yourself, I'd love to build a dump trailer, but with the way the world is right now and the way the economy is, I just can't reach in my pocket and pull out $8,000 or $9,000 or $10,000. So we're going to try to build one, as you know, on the cheap, but actually I want it done right. But at the end of the day, we're going to bring you along, and you're going to be happy. You're going to be looking at the process, and you're going to say to yourself, I have a stack of videos here that I can go back through and actually see how I wire up electric over hydrostatic pump assembly, how to put the hydraulic lines on, how to articulate and whereabouts you want to put the axle on, how to distribute all the weight as to where the bed's going to tip up. It's going to be wonderful, it's going to be fun, and it's going to be something you, the DIYer, don't want to miss. So I just wanted to give you an update. Let me give you one last look, okay? There we go. She's starting to dry off. And again, I've got the heater, okay? So what I do is I open the door and I spray it with a mask on, and I go ahead and I spray it and get all the, because it's the winter time, people. I go ahead and I spray it with the Rust-Oleum Automotive Self-Etching Primer, and then, well, let me back up. First, I take, right here, let me show you. First, I take this acetone. Can you say acetone? I take that and I wipe everything down, okay? And get any kind of oil or residue off. And then we go ahead and we warm the garage up with the heater, and that gets the metal nice and warm. Then I open the door up, go ahead and spray it. That way the fumes can evac out of the building. And then I wait like maybe 5 or 6, 8, 10 minutes. I shut the door down and we crank that heat up, and that's what you've got. Now, it's not ideal, okay? But you can still see there's a little bit of some damp spots here. But I turned the heater off so that I could make this video and you could hear me. But at the end of the day, that's the update, people. That's the update on the DIY School of Hard Knocks. You learned it. You've seen it here. The DIY School of Hard Knocks ATV trailer that's going to be able to dump. And we're going to go ahead and get this tailgate ready so I can show you that next. But till next time, this is Bri. I've got to get on down the road.